Welcome to another travel edition of Great Health, Abundant Happiness, and Outrageous Love. Down here in Costa Rica, ocean at the end of the hall, 429. This is the JW Marriott Guanacaste.
It is.
Karen, why don't you show us around here?
To the JW Marriott Guanacaste. And if you are coming to Costa Rica and you want to see all of the hotels in this area, we have reviewed this that you're watching. I believe we reviewed the W. If not, we've stayed there and you can ask us about that. The Andaz, which is probably at the top of the food chain for us, the Four Seasons, and the Westin. So please feel free to reach out.
I'm gonna spin around because the light's not so good.
Those.
Yeah, I think you're gonna do a video and rate them all together. There you go. It's better light this way. Come on back here.
So this is an oceanfront room, and if you look at the reviews for this hotel, one of the themes that seems to be reoccurring is the rooms are really tight and they're really small. When we first walked in, and we stayed in a lot of, rooms, and we usually get upgraded to suites because of our status, as you'll see at the Westin and at the Andaz. And we have top status here, Ambassador, which I believe is the highest. So they did upgrade us to an oceanfront, but I'm assuming that the suites themselves that are larger were probably booked, or they just decided not to upgrade us. But it didn't feel too tight until we spent a couple of nights in here. And for some reason, it is just a tight room. I think more so the bathroom, Jeffrey. Would you agree?
Yeah, it's all pretty tight. But see this heavy wood armoire. It's very nicely done, but they've got a lot jammed in here. Open up the doors right there.
So I love this. I closed it so you could see. This is the bathroom. And Jeffrey and I, as you may know, if you've watched any of our videos, we are bathtub people. So to be able to sit in the bathtub, and it's a really nice sized tub.
Yeah, it is.
And see the ocean, pretty much a dream come true. However, this is where
We'll look at the ocean a little more in depth here in a moment. Go ahead.
Yeah, and this is where the room falls short. And I heard another woman complaining. There is only one. There's only one sink. So if you're by yourself, that's great. But as a couple, it's not just the double sinks, but it's the vanity space. And you can see they added a little table.
It's a cool little eclectic table.
Super cool. I love the vibe. Very hacienda-like. You almost feel like you're in Mexico. There's a lot of iron and white, beautiful white macrame hammocks throughout. The shower is not my favorite feature here. It's fairly small and it could use a little bit of an updating, but it was fine. I'm not complaining about it at all. And then the toilet room is here. So I think what people are getting tripped up on is like, you can't shut this because they put the robes here. By the way, I always appreciate robes. And then when you go to open this door, it hits there. Yep. And then when you have this was moved over. Everything was a little bit tight, and
yeah, it's
not enough to bother me.
Yeah, right.
Would I come back to this resort? 100% I would. Does it need some help on making things better? 100%. I want to rate the bed. Jeffrey knows I love a heavy comforter. This did not disappoint. The pillows were wonderful, and the ocean right outside here is
Pop
just
on, show this, because this is really the main feature, especially in this room. The sun sets right out here, which is just incredible. It's going to get down in a couple hours, but you can see the beach is quite extensive here. Nice sandy beach with lots of rocks like you see in Costa Rica, but a nice swimming area. It's the waves are awesome.
And I will say, it looks very rocky from here, which it is, but the swimming areas are probably one of my favorites of all of the resorts that we've been fortunate
I think so,
enough
yeah.
to visit. I love it. There are no, people selling anything, so nothing to really distract or disturb you if you're looking for peace and quiet. This is absolutely stunning. And look at that view. I mean, I could look at that all day long.
And I think, I don't think we've mentioned that in the Westin review, but the Westin, there are a lot of vendors there and, selling stuff, which by the way, they're very nice. We bought some things from them, but it's a different vibe going on. Where there's on this beach, I think there's probably not more than 10 people on the beach total.
And I would say that's what really separates. I mean, come on, none of us are coming here to hang out in our room. We're coming here for a particular vibe that you get, you know, when you're walking around the resort or you're on the beach, etc. And that's what differentiates all of these places, which I'll go into in another review. And depending on what you like, everybody likes something a little bit different. This has a, you know, the Brit espresso maker. There's a mini refrigerator and a mini bar. One thing that's a little different between here and all of the other resorts, they do have the plantain chips and the nuts and the Oreos, etc. But there's a fee for theirs. And at all of the other resorts here, those are complimentary. Again, not a big deal, just pointing these things out.
And just I have to mention this. If you go around Costa Rica, you see this Brit espresso maker. Brit coffee is just like they dominate this whole market. You'll see one of these in every hotel.
Right. Super nice touch. When we got here, there were 2 lovely drinks and some cookies, etc. The only thing I'll ding is that Jeffrey is ambassador, which is the top of the food chain, and we are vegan, and everything that was here was not vegan, so I felt really terrible. I really don't like to waste anything, and to have someone have spent time.
I think that goes on us, but I think we need to change the profile because these guys are pretty good with their CRM system.
I think so, and also there's been a lot of changes between Bonvoy and Marriott lately. So, with the pandemic, so we can't blame anyone but ourselves. I'm just pointing a few things out. Right. This is a pet-friendly resort. We have seen, I think, four little dogs here. I do believe there is a weight requirement. So if you're bringing your pet, check, and I believe it's a $100 one-time non-refundable fee. And so I love this place. Location-wise, I need to talk about that because the location of this resort, first of all, again, once you come into this hacienda area, you're not going to have people selling you stuff because all of the beaches in Costa Rica, every single one of them, no matter what hotel you're at, are public beaches. However, this one is very difficult to get to for people to come and sell bowls or whistles or whatever. If you want to get any of that fun stuff, you can go to Cocoa Beach, or we went to Tamarindo yesterday.
That's awesome.
And Jeffrey and Brian, who we're traveling with, both surfed. $15 to rent a surfboard for, I don't know, he didn't really
2 surfboards.
Sorry, 2 surfboards, $15 total. He didn't really seem to care how long they had them for, and was willing to also give a lesson, but you know, they know what they're doing, so there.
Thanks for that. Let's not post that video because we really don't know what we're doing.
We're
but we had
not
fun.
going to post the surf videos, but for me, it was the most joyous day to watch them. And that's sort of a treat to only be a 20-minute drive to Tamarindo.
Yeah.
So that you can go there for the day. You can sit there on the beach. You can get nachos about this big, 4 beers, with everything included, tax tip, etc., for under $20. I mean, it's so reasonable there. It's insane. Let me talk about the restaurants here on this property. Again, at the JW, they have 3 restaurants. I think not including the pool bar, etc. The food's really great. If you're vegan or gluten-free, you will have a challenge because there is not, the communication is a little bit difficult. And I put that on myself. I don't speak Spanish, and I'm in a country where that's the main language. So, you know, my bad. I will say on top of that, that I would so much more appreciate someone saying, I don't know or I don't understand. So, so far, 2 of my meals came and it was nothing like what I ordered. And by the time I got my meal today, which we'll tag a picture, I just asked for a side of pico de gallo, a side of guac, and some tortillas. And you know, that's a pretty universal, simple. It took 2.5 hours for me to get that, and I kept saying no chips because they fry the chips in a fry-later and it cross-contaminates, so I can't have it. So that would be my complaint. But hey, again, we're in Costa Rica. If those things bother you, don't come here because you'll be upset. Yep. But if you're okay with island time, and the food is fantastic. Oh
yeah. I was gonna say, to their defense though too, there were a few vegan things. Like we went to the steakhouse. There was a vegan menu, And I got the eggplant parmesan, but you know, it's all
And you
vegan
loved
cheese. It was absolutely incredible.
Right. And don't say, oh, well, you went to a steakhouse, of course it's going to be wrong. We went there because they said they had a vegan menu.
And they did.
And they did.
Yeah.
But I think it's new for them, and they're still learning what it was. And they did not bring me the right order. But at that point, it really didn't matter to me. It wasn't about the food. I had great company, and it didn't matter anymore. Cleanliness, I'm going to give a slight ding. We've got 2 rooms. I'm not going to go into any details, but I'm going to give on the cleanliness factor, I'm going to give them a 3 out of 5. And we did let management know that's something that they should work on. Please note, this is on the water, and it's a little bit older of a resort. So although the furniture is in really great condition, and you've got the, saltillo tile.
Yes, it's really cool. Yeah.
I love everything about this. I get that people think it's tight. It's the bathroom. The room itself is not tight. The bathroom's tight. But would we come back here, Jeffrey?
Absolutely,
100%.
yeah. Like the bathroom, I go in there, brush my teeth, take a shower, take a bath, we're out, back out to dinner, out to the beach or what have you. So we're not like we're hanging here.
Exactly.
Right.
But is this going to be at the top of my list where I come back? I'm not sure. I have another favorite, and there is a brand new hotel which we haven't reviewed yet because we haven't stayed there, but we'll be coming back. It's in Tamarindo, called Mother Earth. And we are going to stay there and review that so that we can compare it, because we've never stayed in Tamarindo, and I think it's important. Then we will have stayed in Tamarindo.
We leave off the most important piece, like Mother Earth is a vegan hotel with a fine vegan
diet. I was that for a surprise.
Okay.
Yes, the entire hotel is vegan, which we've never seen a vegan
really
hotel
cool.
before.
Well, if you haven't been to Tamarindo, there's a great surf vibe. A lot of cool dudes hanging out there, guys and gals. So I think someone obviously with some cash. I'm guessing, by the way, I haven't been over there. Probably came down and said, "Hey, we need more vegan cuisine down here." But yeah,
something.
It's cool.
So
it looks cool.
Yeah, and I want to talk about a few things that I've read on other review sites where we address the room. If that's an issue for you, don't stay here, because this is the room and the bathroom is tight and there's one vanity, and I don't believe that's an option. But I loved it. This bed was great. I give it a 5 out of 5. I love everything about it. Location-wise, I also read a couple people said there's no nightlife. If you are coming pretty much to Costa Rica for nightlife, stay in Tamarindo or stay in Cocoa Beach. Do not stay at one of these luxury resorts, because they are more about beautiful dinners and sunsets, and then maybe having some afternoon cocktails. They have a rum bar here, maybe going to the rum bar, and that's it. I read someone had traveled with a couple teenagers and they were disappointed there was nothing to do. This is not a rowdy place like that. This is a really beautiful, quiet, and I speak for all of the Costa Rican luxury resorts. I think there's some, I'm not sure, like the Rue, etc. That's probably more of a party place. We've stayed at the W. That's a little bit more of a party place, but even still not so much. So if that's your jam, go to Tamarindo and stay in one of those places, because there's bars galore there, and it looks like it'd be a lot of fun if you're looking for that. We were looking for more of a relaxing, low-key time. What else, Jeffrey? I think that's it, right?
I think that's it. The only other thing that I always like to hit is coffee. And we already talked about the Brit coffee maker now.
Yes.
Coffee here is not my traditional where I can go down there at 5 a.m. and there's coffee brewed and waiting for me. You have to wait for these restaurants to open. And I think, keep me honest here, is it 7 or 8 o'clock?
7 o'clock if you want to wait for coffee. And here in the room, it's really comical to Jeffrey and I. There's only 2 little pods, and one's decaf and one's regular. We don't drink decaf. So I did ask the housekeeping for a few extras yesterday, and she wasn't really excited to give me a whole bunch of them, but again, I think it's my fault. I think it was a language barrier. And the other thing I want to say is this is very casual. As you can see, we've got our swimsuits on with our cover-ups. We've been on the beach all day. You can go to breakfast like this. You can have lunch like this. If you wanted, I think you could have dinner like this. But we are covered in sand from, we spend most of our time on the beach as opposed to the pool. But I want to address the pool here is stunning. It's an absolutely beautiful pool. I read a couple of reviews where people said they couldn't get seats. I don't think they were talking about this resort. There were so many seats. This pool is massive, but it's not like a big, it's winding and beautiful with gorgeous lush vegetation. It goes on forever. And as far as the beach goes, They actually have chairs on the beach that they provide, which is not common at all of the resorts here. The Andaz has it, but the Westin and the W do not. So you're laying on the sand, which we do anyway, even if there are beach chairs. So that's why we hang in until the night, because we're hanging on the beach in the sand, and we would probably go to dinner like this, but we're kind of covered in sand. That's it.
That's it. All right, that's good.
JW
And so
Guanacaste.
overall, what are you giving on a scale of 1 to 5?
Overall, I mean, I give it, you know, I'd have to say a 4 point something because of the cleanliness and because of a few other things. But again, the big question I always tell people, would I come back? 100% I would come back here. Is it going to be my first choice? Probably not, because there's so many amazing places, but I would never turn down a trip to come back here. And I would like to experience next time one of the suites, just to have a little more space. Again, we don't spend much time in the room, but the bathroom is a big thing for us. And the last place we stayed at, actually a bathtub out on the balcony, which was phenomenal. And the place we stayed at before that had a shower that opened up really to the water in the jungle, so you can't beat that. So high standards, and the comparisons aren't always that fair. So I need to add that in there, right?
Yep.
That's it for the JW Marriott Guanacaste. I think it's got Hacienda in its name. I'm not sure of the official name.
It
But
certainly looks like one.
It certainly does, and I love this.
It's beautiful.
setup.
Yep.
So great. Wishing you great health, abundant happiness, and outrageous love from Guanacaste, Costa Rica.
Pura vida.